Hello everyone, welcome to the SWAT Kats Revolution. So grateful that you guys came in. So grateful about the support. Yeah. So obviously we're here because of you guys. SWAT Kats would have not continued for all these years without you guys being supportive of it. It's just been insane. I mean, yesterday I explained it again, but I explain it again one more time. Creating something and then has a longevity and people responded, and it's just mind-blowing. It's also great responsibility. So we owe it to you guys to continue the adventure. We've been fortunate enough to, in our original deal with Hanna-Barbera, that to keep those rights that we have. We have feature film rights, animation and live actions, we have television rights. So basically we can do anything we want, which is fantastic. So today we're going to talk about what we're going to be doing from now on. As you know, we did a Kickstarter campaign, again, because of you guys. The request and everything has been overwhelmed success. And based upon that, it had triggered a lot of attention. Now we went back to the studios and we say, hey, listen guys, we told you, there's something here going on, and now we have a proof of concept. We did a Kickstarter campaign, and in less than 30 days, and in actually less than 48 hours, we reached our goal. And then less than 30 days, we reached, we went about 284% above the amount. We told them, listen guys, there's something, and then they started to listen, which is great. We do have right now, so I'll tell you where we are.
We should introduce ourselves in case they're...
Oh, just in case? Okay, so yeah, I'm Christian Tremblay. It's my brother Yvon. So we are the creator of SWAT Kats, and Lance Falk, which he was a writer on the series, original series. He wrote 6 fantastic episodes. Some of the great characters like Turmoil, that guy, and no, Lance was a big fan. We were a big fan of his when he came with ideas originally, and every time we say, "Oh, Lance is writing an episode," yeah, so it was genuine. And did I told you that before?
No, you didn't.
Thank
you so much. Well, what I will say is I wrote those shows as a freelance person. My day job was a designer on the series.
I was going to say it. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
and Dave Estoy, the producer, the head artistic producer, is my favorite boss, and I'd worked with him on other shows before and other shows after. And when he got SWAT Kats, he gave me the opportunity to pitch stories to these guys, and they were very, very, very supportive and encouraging of my ideas, and let me play in their playground, their sandbox. And I've worked in the business. I'm almost at 30 years, and I probably worked on hundreds of shows. And I got 2 favorite things I ever did, and SWAT Kats is definitely one of them. And when they called and said, we're going to do more, I won't do your accent. They said, we're going to do more. And I got so excited, and I said, I'll quit anything to work on that again with them. So thank you so much for coming, and take it away.
Yeah, and I just want to close on that aspect that Lance had an edge and had originality in his episodes that we really, really enjoyed. And he has a deep sense of knowledge of science fictions and fantasy, so we're going to have fun again, right?
We're going to have total fun. I was just getting warmed up, guys, when they pulled us, so.
So this afternoon we're going to tell you where we are, post Kickstarter campaigns and what we've done. So what we've done is that, based upon immediately after the closure of Kickstarter, obviously we spent a little bit of time to gather all the rewards together. We wanted to have like really, really good stuff, for everybody that pledged for the series. And so it took a little bit of time, to gather all of those elements together. And as soon as that was complete, we immediately jumped into the business aspect because, fantasy and all of that is fantastic, but needs to have a business associated with it because otherwise it just stays on the shelves. And so we have a good sense of business being in Hollywood for all those years. So what we did is that we immediately called upon the studios and some potential partners, and we told them, listen guys, we've told you about SWAT Kats, now here's the facts. And we show them the Kickstarter campaign, and we show them, explain them the vision. We say, listen, we live in a time right now where we can exploit those property across media, which did not exist by the time SWAT Kats was back in 1994. We can, SWAT Kats can be all across media, can be all across the social platforms. It can just have an amazing, life. And also, look at what you guys are doing here in Hollywood. You take, past projects and you make feature films with them. Here you have a unique opportunity to be supportive and be partner with us in launching back SWAT Kats Revolution, getting the TV series, getting, obviously toys and merchandising, getting video games, and getting all the transmedia aspect of it. And they responded. They responded, very, very well. And so right now, we have one of the major Hollywood studio. I can't say the name yet, okay? But it's one of the big ones. And they are very, very interested. And what we're doing right now, we are working with them into putting a presentation together for their sister broadcaster, if you can say that. Because they have one place that they can put SWAT Kats with the studio. And so they are extremely supportive. Actually, we have a meeting this week. We've been working in the development. We're going to post in due time. I always said, on Kickstarter that we're going to have like a website, not a website, a blog, so something where we can see live, what is happening on the series, what the development, the sketches, the ideas, and giving some exclusives as well. It's there, it's in the process, it's going to be coming. But the key thing is that we're working really hard right now to convince and having the studio being part of it. If they come on board, this is bingo. I mean, literally, it's bingo. We have some more work to do. A little bit of convincing, but the great news is that we have that studio right now supporting us. They check all the box. It's a library property. It's a classic property, and we have a fan base all around the world. It's a great licensing and merchandising property. We can sell all the toys, and all those things, video games. So they check all the box and they say, okay, put this thing together with you guys. The next step is the selling process. That it's a question mark. We don't know yet. But the good thing is that we have a hell of how do you say this in English, an expression? Okay, I was going to say it in French, but in English, I think it would be like stubborn. But like your head, like you're really, really stubborn?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're like extremely stubborn. So when we want something, we get. As simple as that.
The word is tenacious.
Tenacious?
It's more positive than stubborn.
Okay, so
you're very determined and...
Yeah, we're determined. We have a great expression in French, which we say, we have une tête de cochon. So what it would mean is that we have a head of a pig. I don't know where, I have no idea the origin of that expression. But when we say that in French, it means that when we have something in our head, things are going to happen. And if we don't do it the conventional way with SWAT Kats, we're going to do it on the unconventional way. The great news is that right now, through social platforms, online, with supports of a fan, we can launch the show any way we want. And I know that you guys will be there. If we deliver something outstanding, it's going to be there. And God knows the studio knows about it, which is a great thing. before when we started in this business, and you understand, we had 3 places to sell shows. The 3 networks, and then the 4th maybe in syndication. Today, something can be launched directly from an Apple app game, an application. It can be directly online. The platforms are there, and we're going to be using all of that if the original plan doesn't go through. We're not going to wait after the studios to make the SWAT Kats Revolution happen. Obviously, there is financial components to it. But we have, because we're Canadians, the actual productions, we have tremendous tax credits in Quebec, in Canada, but in Quebec even better. The Canadian dollar is extremely low right now, so that's why, we see all those productions going there. When we factor all of that, the actual gap to close the financing of the budget we need to produce a series is very low. So this week we have 2 big meetings, in regards to business people in studios. We'll keep you, obviously, through Kickstarter, the updates will keep you updated. But it announced extremely, extremely good. So that is the business part of it, the boring, but it's the necessary one. Now, and by the way, guys, we're going to leave a good 20 minutes, 25 minutes of questions, because I know, it's important, when you guys have questions, all that stuff. But we're going to talk now about the SWAT Kats Revolutions, the actual content. C'est comme ça, c'est pas? Oh, no? Okay. When we sat down, and Glenn is involved, Glenn Leopold, which is the original story editor of the series, which I think did a tremendous job in the series. Lance is going to be involved as well, and most likely additional original guy, and also some new ones as well. But when we started to think what will be SWAT Kats Revolution, we thought of many things. But one thing was very important, is that if the show would have not been canceled originally, it would have going on, it would have going on, meaning that there was nothing broken, there was nothing. So we look into it and we say, okay, what can we change, whatever it is, and we said, well, everything was fine, there was nothing to change, alter characters, and it's like, when you take a piece of art, a painting or a sculpture, if you remove one part, then the whole, equilibrium or stability of the drawings or the sculpture fall apart. Every part is there. So SWAT Kats will look into it and say, all the parts is there. All we need to do is, just continue. So that was our word. So SWAT Kats Revolution is a continuation. It's not a reboot. It's not like, we're gonna, change things. We're going to keep the things that are in the series that works and we love about it, and that I think the fans respond about it. What we're going to do is that we're going to continue it. The characters are going to be there. I'm going to talk a little bit because we have some new characters that are going to become, into the show. There'll be also recurring villains that we have, but there will be also some new ones. Essentially, we're continuing what the show's about. The key thing about SWAT Kats Revolution in the series is that Mega Cat City is really falling apart because the SWAT Kats, and it's a little bit of, we've been off the air since 22 years. So Mega Cat City is falling apart. SWAT Kats became obsolete. The technology and whatever they've been using has been obsolete because just like in our real world, technology has tremendously, increased in Mega Cat City to the good, but also to the bad. Villains have used those new technology. And the SWAT Kats could just not compete. So they're still there trying to fight, but they've just been overwhelmed to the point of obsolete. They just became obsolete. They're still good, but not good enough for what the villains are doing. And the city is really falling apart. Callie Briggs doesn't know what to do. Mayor Manx is corrupt more than ever. Dark Cat has created this alliance, where he's got a big chunk of control over Mega Cat City, So it's very bleak, you know. This new character came in, and he actually broke into the SWAT Kats garage, and nobody has done that before. So how did it happen? And he just said, well, old-fashioned way, you know, I hacked myself in. So this new character, we have a new character, and he's basically he's a hacker, he's a troublemaker, and a little bit, he's been in trouble, you know, not criminal, but really because of hacking activity. But he shared the same thing. He hates the enforcers, and because they create problems for him. But also, he doesn't like the way Mickey Cat City looks anymore. And he's coming in, and he's going to be kind of a third SWAT Kats, not in costume, but he's going to be the one that is going to bring the technology up to there. He knows technology, you know. And now the SWAT Kats, they're going to have the Turbo Cats, all the equipment is going to be geared to compete now for what the villains, where they are. So basically, the SWAT Kats were the SWAT Kats 1.0 in a 10.0 world. They just could not compete. But these new additions, and I won't say too much because there's a link about this new character, but now the SWAT Kats going to have this all new reboot, you know, of the Turbo Cats, all the gadgets they're using. Now they're going to be, you know, not just technical, but they're going to be, you know, really, really technology advanced because of this new character. And this new character is going to, I mean, you guys are going to love him because you're going to love him, or maybe you're going to love her, is that she's Shioe, the new character. You like the girl, right? Okay.
I said maybe you could be a girl.
Well, let's ask you a question, okay? Because we brainstormed with Glenn, and Glenn, you know, had this character as a guy. And then Lance, when we talk, he says...
A half hour ago.
Yeah. He said, you know, I've been thinking already in my creative, and I said, it would be great if she was a girl. And I said, might be a very good idea. Having this girl hacker, you know, with a hoodie, you know, going to the city, you know, not being too seen, but she knows what's going on, and, you know, all that stuff. And I said, well, that could be actually great. Do you guys think it's better that we put her as a girl or as a man, as a guy? A girl? Girl? And she's gonna be pretty awesome, I tell you. So it's a girl. Yeah, it's a girl, man.
That happened live.
That happened live. Yeah. No, that's the cool thing, you know. It's like interacting. You know, sometimes we are in our head, you know, and we talk and we brainstorm and all stuff like that. But just talking with you guys and woo, yeah, and then we say, hey, that's something.
I love them because they listen to me and are willing to hear my ideas. But the girl, I was thinking, oh, what did the girl with the dragon tattoo? You know, not quite so punk as that, but that's kind of a cool character, and they need to see that movie. Because she's the hacker in the hoodie and the
no, it's good because, you know, it makes there's always this pattern of making girls in television series the stereotype, you know, which I hate. But it's always good to see, you know, a strong female character that we can relate to. And when you see her on the screen, you actually like it. You know, I don't watch TV much because of times, but there's a few series, and especially in comedy, that I watch, and there are strong female. And when I see them, it's like, you know, I love it. Inside, it's like, oh, I love it. But they're not stereotyped, you know. Might be crazy or whatever it is. So the idea of having a girl, we responded immediately because, you know, it's good. As you can see, you know, we are at the early stage, but so this character will be a very important part because she'll bring them up to what the world is now. You know, Razor and T-Bones, you know, they were technical guy, you know, not really, you know, there's a few, you know, high-tech stuff, but they're like regular Joe, with grease, stuff like that. Computers it could do, but it's not there. Now they have that component. And it's a reflection of our world right now, where we have those small devices that can broadcast all around the world. And so, Mickey Cat City is up to there as well. And also, Glenn has written a great treatment for a film. And that's something we're going to be discussing as well. And in that treatment, there's a new character as well. And his name is Cougar. And we liked it so much that it's going to be also a character in the series. Essentially, Cougar is T-Bone's grandfather. And the reason T-Bone, because the reason T-Bone is a pilot is because when he was young, he saw his grandfather flying, and it always fascinated him. And so Cougar was a test pilot for the enforcers. And then what happened is that he crashed and he was missing for a very long time. They never found him. In the course of a mission, Razor and T-Bone felt bad because Cougar asked them to do the checkup, the checkup list. Yeah, on this new aircraft. And then he crashed, never heard about him, and they felt obviously like, because, they thought it was their fault. And so later on, during one of the missions of the Razor and T-Bone, they, regarding Dr. Viper, they went to search for the Viper in the swamp, and they found this tail of a plane just sticking out of the swamp. And T-Bone realized that he saw the number on the tail. It sounds familiar to him. He digged a little bit more, but essentially they found Cougar. But now Cougar is like halfway mutated. He spent a long time in the swamps, and even Cougar does not recognize, Razor and T-Bone. But bottom line, to make it short, is that ultimately Cougar gets his memory back. He's still a bit up, but he's still a good guy. So now he's not part of the SWAT Kat, but he's there now. And he's the one that taught Razor and T-Bone, to fly the enforcers. He always bumped head, obviously, with Ferrell. And Cougar used to say, well, they're just young, they're enthusiastic, because when they were in the enforcers, they were going crazy a little bit. And so those are like two new characters that's going to be introduced in the series as regular. The key things we're going to be doing, and anytime you want to jump as well, Lance, okay? The key thing we're going to be doing is that as maker of the episodes, like we said yesterday, we were on a trajectory going upward where we're going to get a little bit more closer to the character. But then, the series stopped. And we didn't get a lot of things we wanted to do in the series. We didn't get a chance to do, mostly character-driven things. So here's our chance. We're going to get really, really into, deeper into the characters. Family members, like Razor and T-Bones, who's their family, even the villains, get more of their motivations, where there's a little bit of episodes where they come from, but, the best thing is to get into characterizations and how those characters are going to interact. Like just a dummy version. If Razor and T-Bones are fighting in one episode, but if one family member is in the path of destructions or whatever it is, it becomes much more emotional. So we're going to get much more deeper into the characters, which is like, yeah, there will still be, tons of explosions and, and actions and things like that. But explosion doesn't make a longevity. What it makes is that the motivations of the character. So this is really, really what we're going to do in SWAT Kats Revolution. We're going to get to know much more of who they are, the villains, the good guys, our stars, obviously. Callie, we have so many, ideas. I won't tell not too much. We want to keep some of the suspense, and some we're still, brainstorming. Essentially, this is what we're going to be doing. So, if people love the show, I think they're going to love it even more because we're going to get much more personal. Going to get to know those characters even more, some of the backgrounds and inner conflicts as well. I was looking. I did a commentary on the episodes this afternoon on the Deadly Pyramid, and just the fact that there was a Cybertron there, and the Cybertron, because it was a third character, created tremendous conflict. T-Bone didn't like it that much, and so suddenly when you introduce characters like that, you get to know so much more. You get to love them more, and that's we want to make sure that we're going to build the show for a longer longevity, not just like the 23 episodes we did. So that's in the core, what we're going to be doing. Visually, we want to keep, not visually, as a core, we want to keep what the show's about, the feeling of the show. Looking back again at it, those green skies and the soundtrack, and there was something about it when you add all the elements. There's the great personalities that obviously you guys worked on, the visual, the villains, the mood, the feel. So we want to keep all of that, except that we have now technology to make it look even better. Still a 2D show, feel and look. But there will be essentially, as you'll guess it, all vehicles, gadgets, weapons, jet, the Turbo Cat, all be CGI, obviously. All those flying sequence now, it's going to be like, you're going to
maybe the city.
Yeah, and
like that.
Yeah, exactly. All those elements, but again, those elements seamlessly blended together. So it looks, so the goal is that we look at it, it's like, well, it's still the same, still SWAT Kats. We continue where we left it, except that we're 2016. We have technology, we have better effects, better everything, and but never ever losing what and who are those characters, and to the contrary of that, even more. And that's the key thing for us.
It's not broken, right? And what I'm trying to talk to the brothers about is, obviously, Christian just said about getting deeper into the characters, but maybe taking a page from Batman the Animated Series and doing some multi-parters and threads and nods to continuity so that the show works as standalone individual stories. But if you see them in the right order, it's a richer tapestry, it's more three-dimensional, and you can see progression and growth. You can really see motivation, like you might see a particular Mac and Molly story. I like Mac and Molly, that's why I tend to work with them. But you'll see a story about them, and the next time they show up, you'll kind of get them a little more, and it'll make that, the second story, richer. And the last Mac and Molly story I wrote was kind of a weird combination of a love story between Bonnie and Clyde and a fantastic voyage in a robot. It's based on a true story, and so you get a little more of their relationship in that particular episode. Moving forward, see Mac and Molly again, you're going to factor that in, and I'm going to have a little more fun with them next time. We're going to have more fun with Dr. Viper, who Glenn was extremely good at writing, or the Past Master, which was a Glenn character that he was extremely good at writing, that I never got to touch, that I want to. And Dark Cat has a lot of potential, and didn't have the time to really get in there and tell you what was going on with Dark Cat. While he's mysterious, there's a lot more to him. We like Hard Drive, and never really did the big Hard Drive story that I wanted to do. I got to use him a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Hard Drive was in a couple episodes, but
I think 2 episodes. Yeah.
2 or 3.
But there's a few things also, is that you might get to see Metallic Cats kids, the Metallic Cats kids, and they're probably going to be even more badass than their parents. Those are kind of things we're exploring right now. There'll be also a new villain that
I want to do that one.
Yeah. There'll be also a new villain that Yvon created.
Metalabrats.
Metalabrats. Which is tentatively now it's called the Mole. Is an underground. Is an ex-miner. Used to be a miner. Big explosion happened, and he never been rescued. He's there, and now he controls basically all the underground world. And he's going to be badass. I did some sketches already, so it's going to be very, very cool. You'll get to see those things. That's what I'm saying. We're going to put together this, what call it like live blog, whatever it is, where we're going to put glimpses of and new exclusivity and new things. It's like on the construction mode right now, but we're going to be update about it. We're going to update you all about it so you can get to see, and then whenever there'll be new things, I'll put things in there. We want to also have like video talking, like me talking about what's going on, or Lance making a video about, let's say, hey, I'm writing an episode here, this, all those kind of things. We want to have you see what's going on behind it before anybody else, so you get to see, it's out there, and, putting comments as well, because comments is also very important. I realized that when we did the Kickstarter, we read every single comment, and we say, oh yeah, and sometimes wanted to do things, and the fans realized that, made us realize that, we have to be careful here, we have to be careful there, because sometimes we are in our world, and so that's the goal of that. You really have a place where you get to see, the things that's going to be happening. I think that I would love to have you guys doing the question things. We can go there now, and whatever you have questions, feel free, guys. We have a good 25 minutes for that.
Cool.
So, yeah, over there.
Yes, I want to know if the studio or you guys were thinking on going with a darker tone for the series. They let you get away with it.
Do we even want to do that?
Yeah, the question is, I think we don't want to do darker. Then we want to keep what the show's about, and just continuing it, like I explained. I was watching again. I was watching the Deadly Pyramid episodes this afternoon, and there's a lot of things we got away with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like wow. I mean, but we want to keep it at least like that. So if you look at an episode like the Deadly Pyramid, the tone in there, it's one of my favorite, probably one of the strong one as well. We want to keep along those lines of that, as far as like the tone is concerned. I mean, it was pretty edgy, there's things, I mean, those badass mummies, throw cars, and choppers against the wall, they smashing buildings and stuff. We love that kind of stuff, so we want to keep doing the things. Do we want to get darker? I don't think we need to get darker. I mean, we want to get deeper. This is really what we want to do. Deeper into the characters. Yep.
You've already answered one thing about the animation will be different, but what about music? Will you be using the same soundtrack?
Yeah, there's a few elements contractually we're gonna have to be sitting down with now Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers own the original series. Okay? No, it's okay. They own it, but we own the rights of the television. So whatever new we create. So I don't foresee any issue there, because by the times we're going to be making the series, if we do with Warner Brothers or another studio or by ourselves, there'll be supports behind it. And then at that point, they also have to be careful, because when social media goes after a studio, they have to be careful. If they say, you can't use the music, you can't use this, then, community gets behind us, and then, they have to be careful. You have to be careful. So the goal would be, again, an enhancement of that, keeping we don't want to dramatically change that, because music was a big part of the mood and the feel of the show. So we want to keep that. Yeah, you in the back, yes, you, okay.
Testing one, two.
Oh, that's good.
So in the over 2 decades that it's been since SWAT Kats has been on air, did you ever, when it ended, and then after like so many years passed, did you ever think that you'd have this chance to like revive this series that you all love so much?
Okay, so that's a good question, because when we got off the air, we immediately sat down, and Glenn, as I said, wrote this movie treatment, because we knew we had the movie rights and the TV rights, but TV was just being canceled. So we said, okay, we're going to go after a movie. So Glenn wrote this movie treatment, and then from that moment on, but this is in 1994. I did not even have a computer back then. Internet was, just was basically beginning. But I don't know if I even knew the word internet back then. We wanted to do something for sure. We said, okay, they cut the series up. We're going to bring it. We're going to continue in other ways. And one way was the movie. What happened is that when I started to learn about internet and get the first computer and stuff like that, my friend was printing out, a bunch of things. He said, look, one of my friends gave me like a folder with a pile of printouts of fans. They said, Christian, look at that. This is all fans, SWAT Kats fans online. What? So I look at that, I said, wow. I knew we had a lot of fan mail because of the show at the end, there was a right to SWAT Kats, so we got, I had like a big folders of fans that wrote to us. But technology-wise online, I didn't know about it. So when we found that out, from that moment on, we had fans writing to us and things like that. And it was always in the back of our head. Again, I said stubborn. What the other word you said?
I said
tenacious.
Tenacious.
So we're tenacious.
It's more flattering.
Yes.
Than a pighead.
Than a pighead, yeah. So we knew we were going to do something about it. It was just a question of times. And we were supposed to do the Kickstarter about last year. And again, fans, and so we said, okay, well, this is now. So it really was through the fan supports and the output that we got that we said, now was the time. But we knew we were going to do something. It's just that it accelerated tremendously because of the technology and social networks and emails and everything else. Yeah, just next to you. No, you're in the back, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There's a guy back there.
Oh, all the way to the back?
Someone back there?
The which story?
Altering their origin story. I think I'm gonna. No, this is a continuation. So, whatever their origin was, that's what their origin is going to be. We're not going to contradict the show. We're just taking a few years past and maybe filling in some of those gaps, possibly, if things happen. But we're not going to undo the original show in any way. So.
No, it's
continued.
It's a continuation. Yeah. In the front here. Either one. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
My question is for the later on future for SWAT Kats. Is there a possibility that you guys might have like this original voice actors, or you're gonna have like newer ones?
Well, you know that I've spoken during the Kickstarter. I've spoken to 3 of them. So I've spoken to Treston McNeil, I've spoken to Barry Gordon and Charlie Adler. They would love to come back. They'd love to come back. Unfortunately, Gary Owens passed away, and will be, I think a mix of, whoever can. And because those guys loved it, they loved doing those characters. And then Barry Gordon tells me that when he goes, he asked me actually, he said, Christian, you need to give me a razor print, because every time I go to conventions, people ask me all the times, you know, to have, and then I don't have anything. So I gave him that to him. So they're very fond of those characters that they played, and we'll try to get them back in. Yeah, there. Oh, yeah, I was just sorry, because you said ladies first, so that's your turn.
I was here yesterday's panel and asking about the 3 missing episodes and everything. Now, you guys said you could convert them possibly to this new series, try to tweak them, you said?
You want me
Oh,
to?
well,
Go ahead.
yeah, the 3 lost ones.
Okay, to just make it very clear, there's a rumor that there are 3 unaired lost episodes of SWAT Kats, with the 2nd season should have been 3 more. Those shows went a certain distance in production. They were written, they were storyboarded, they were even recorded. We had the actors record it. They were designed, all the models were designed, the colors were selected. There's, for the real animation deep diving, there's something called exposure sheets that were written. And that's all called pre-production, and it's done domestically in the studio, and I'm part of that team. And then the next step is you send all that stuff to Japan or wherever. In our case, it was Japan, the 2nd year to MOOC. And then they take it and they do the drawings you physically see on the show. It never made it to production. Now, everything they do overseas is based on the stuff we do here first, in pre-production. Production never happened. Third step is post-production, when all the drawings are done, it's painted and it's on backgrounds and it's all photographed together. We get it back, we put in sound effects, music, things like that, tweak it digitally. But those shows, not a single frame was ever drawn of those 3 scripts. So I just want to make that clear, because people are always saying, when are we going to see the 3 lost episodes? There weren't any. There were 3 scripts that, what I said yesterday, they're terrific scripts that Glenn Leopold wrote, the story editor, terrific scripts. One was The Return of Turmoil, who's a character I created, and a snow episode that Christian mentioned yesterday, and there was another one called, like kind of a vampire cat girl character, and called The Curse of Cataluna, and they're terrific stories, and I don't see, it's up to them, but I don't see why we can't take those stories and look at them and tweak them into our new version, adding that girl hacker character, and maybe adding Cougar, and incorporating them, but they're perfectly good stories. And there's no reason to throw them out, especially if they've been done. It gives us a little heads up, you know, a little head start. And we'll see. We'll see if they hold up and if they work with their plans.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
My question was, is you said you could possibly do flashbacks. Is it a possibility, like you said, it's been many, many years, is it possible you could use parts of the scripts that you had like a flashback to one of those episodes that was not really finished at all with the script itself, to show the fall of Cat City?
Like the menagerie and the cage. Yeah, I understand. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. Too early to answer that.
Yeah. Yeah, you. I was next to you, and then you can go in the back, since you're right there.
First off, I just want to say, see Girl Dragon Tattoo, take your wife and girlfriend so you can date one of me. But I actually had 3 questions. I'll make them real quick. The first one was, now we're in like the age where like we're seeing a lot of crossovers with like other cartoons, different acting, like the Steven Universe and the Uncle Grandpa. Do you think you could there potentially be a crossover you guys would be willing to do with SWAT Kats and maybe some other show similar to that caliber?
The 3rd SWAT Kat is Stimpy.
Also,
And then Felix the cat.
I'd watch that. Also,
Yeah, Jake and their favorite cartoon now, you know, it's Felix the Cat.
also, I know she addressed like voicing actors since it is since I know you guys are like, you know, rented Canadian, do you think there'd be like possible shots of getting like, you know, actors of that caliber? Because I know like maybe Tara Strong or something like that, like voice one of the new characters. I know nothing's been confirmed. You know.
Well, this will depend. I mean, the new characters. I mean, it will go through a process of casting. You know, we're not there yet. You know, but once we get, you know, it's to get as much as great actors we can get. You know, like we had an original cast. So we'll see.
And I probably just want to ask, was there a reason why like all the female cats look more like humans than the male cats?
Yeah, no, it's a good. This is a good. It's a good question. Yeah, the same questions I had yesterday.
We have a furry in the audience.
The reason is really because the show went from visually it evolved, you know, especially when we got Mook involved. We really liked the anime feel to the characters that we designed. And then when we went to the second seasons, we upgraded, you know, a little bit, and we were going to more adjust everything, like homogenize everything, you know, to the subsequent seasons and stuff like that. But yeah, we're going to be doing this on SWAT Kats Revolution though. Now it's going to be more. It will be more harmonized, you know, as far as characters are concerned. It's like, you know, like it's like when you look at the Simpsons, the first Simpsons characters, and then we look at them now. You know, there's been an evolution, and so that the show was from one season to the other. It did happen a little bit, and then it was going to continue. But now it's been 20 years, so we had times to. So now we're going to be more.
You kind of want the girls to be a little bit pretty,
Yeah.
and the girl version of T-Bone. You know, I'm just saying. So.
There was one in the back. Yeah, one in the back.
I just wanted, I know you didn't mention too much about Pharaoh and Felicity, and I was wondering if they're still a part of the story, or if they play, they're probably going to play a major part. I just want to know.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there?
It's still there. It's still there. But we have a hell of a good episodes for the beginning though. But I'm not going to say more about it. But let's put it this way: one episode happened in a cemetery. Just leave it there. Just leave it there. Yeah, you in the front, right?
I was gonna maybe ask, so you had ideas of maybe along the line of the show to have like character development, like as they progress, the personalities are like changing up a little bit?
Not changing. I mean, you know, when you create TV series like that, the characters they're like real human beings. I mean, they're really like real. As you want to have them real as possible, and so just like a real person in your life, in our lives, it's not necessarily change. They evolve. You know, they might go through some experience. You know, that sometimes might have a drastic change. Sometimes it's different point of view. So that's what I was referring to. You know, those characters are, for us, they're real. For us, like when we're crafting those episodes, it's just like they're like next to us, you know, and they're gonna live things in their life, you know, they're gonna experience things in their lives through the episodes that, you know, will either alter their point of view or sometimes they're just gonna stay always the same, you know. It's just, they're real characters. You know, for us, they're like real human beings. And I think that the great thing, and I have to give credit for that to Glenn and Lance and the writer, is that the reason, you know, well, every time when I do meetings, and one of the first things I do when I do meetings with the companies and the investors, the money guys, I say, guys, go Google SWAT Kats. Go SWAT Kats images and scroll down. It scrolls down forever. I say, guys, this show has been off the air, you know, it's 22 years. Has been around, you know, all that time. But the bottom line is that fans have kept these characters alive. You know, there's a reason for it. It's because they identified those characters were real. You know, it's not just about action. There's tons of action shows that came out during the same time as SWAT Kats, but you know, you will find a few images on Google. But I'm amazed every time I go, and I go there quite often, you know, because it's a pleasure for us to go see, you know, fine arts and stuff like that. But it's there for a reason, because those characters were real. They identify. I remember very well, as you know, a while ago, a long time ago, when Beavis and Butthead was on the air. They did a survey. They had done a survey back then, and the survey was like, the teenager thought those characters were real. They were like living there. When you do that, you achieve something pretty amazing, because, and that's maybe I talk to a lot of people. Sometimes they say, you know, that cartoons nowadays, well, maybe they miss that part, you know, of being real. So you create characters, they are real for us, and you put them in a situation where there's conflicts in their lives. There's inner conflicts, there's dilemma, there's joys, there's pains, there's sorrows, there's all kind of things that we do experience, and that's what so we're going to get much more into that. That's what makes for good storytelling, without taking anything away from, obviously, the actions and everything that's going on. So, yeah, there. For
Online viewing?
That is part of our unconventional way. So I told you there's two things on SWAT Kats. We're going to launch it on the conventional way, studios, broadcasters, and if nobody hears, then we're going to go that route. For sure. And then we just so you know, we're super hype about that. Super hype about that. And we have plans. It's on paper. It's there. We have financials. It's all there. And I'm going to tell you guys, you know, if studios get involved, fantastic. If they don't get involved, f it, you know, because those things, you know, and you guys are into the power's in our hand, and that's what's going to happen either way. Oh, do you have? Yeah, you.
I don't have so much question, but as a comment, I really appreciate that you are staying with the origin story and not. I think with a lot of modern shows that they bring back, I think rebooted Transformers a million times or the continuation, is that you and you lose all what was actually good about it, the original story side. I just want to let y'all know that it's really great. I think it helps that, I mean, y'all are doing it, y'all are being creators and everything, that you have more control over that, but I think that's super important to the storyline.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You appreciate that.
It would almost be funny, the first shot in the first episode just says, 5 years later, and just boom.
That's good. You in there? You're with the cap. Yeah.
What would you say your guys' inspirations are in making the show?
Wow, that's a good question. Inspiration. I don't know, man. It's like, you know, I think it's a mix of. I think it's the world, it's the fantasy, it's the characters, you know, and also the villains. When I say that characters, you know, obviously I'm talking about the hero, you know, Razor and T-Bones, and the key characters, but also the villains. And villains are so interesting. I love villains so much because, again, why are they where they are? You know, they're also human being, or they're being, you know, in some case, but they live. And why are they doing what they're doing? You know, that I think is the inspiration. We want to see that happening. So what happened if you put this character there, and then the situation here, and then the result of that? It's really for us what's trigger, but inspiration is, wow, I never really thought about it. Now I'm gonna have them all day. I'm gonna say, what's the inspiration actually? I think it's the inspiration is the desire to do things more so now when I know that how much there's a fandom of SWAT Kats, more so now than it's like to make sure we fulfill in our responsibility toward you guys and giving you what you love about. Yeah.
You get her?
Last question.
Oh yeah, last question.
You said that you wanted to go deeper into the villain side. So, like Dark Cat, he barely had a few episodes, but everybody knew that he was the major threat. He was the reason why the SWAT Kats are the way they are. Are you going to include like more of Dark Cat, like and more origin stories to different villains and the new villains?
Well, we'll know deeper about them, as I said. Whether it's through origin stories or sometimes just understanding what a character is thinking. Once we know that, then we understand why he does X, Y, and Z, and then we can know more. So it's just a deeper knowledge of who they are. And sometimes it'll be origin stories and stuff like that. But sometimes you can really express sometimes in just a few sentences, why a character is doing what he does. And so that's what we're going to go with. Dark Cat, is
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I think we kind of agree that Dark Cat has a really great story that we haven't told yet. And this will give us an opportunity to get in there. Like I think Metallic Cats, Past Master, Dr. Viper, they got some good mojo going in the show. And Dark Cat maybe didn't get that. He had some good episodes, but he didn't get that great episode. He should be the kind of the major villain in a way. And we haven't got that. And maybe we're saving him for multi-parter to really do it.
So guys, I think it looks like we're out of time. But I want to say something, guys. Please come and join for the signature, and also just let you know there will be a draw. Of whoever signs, will have those things for you to fill. Just very simple. But bottom line is that we're going to draw an original animation cells for the TV series of when we did the. So we'll take one. They're now more than ever super rare. We basically said we're not going to do that anymore. But today being with you guys, so. Come see us. There'll be things we're going to sign for you. But also out of that, we're going to draw one original animation cells. We'll sign it for you. It's one original cell. That is one of the episodes. So we'll get it for you, for one of you guys. And thanks so much. It's fantastic to have you here, guys. Thank you so much.
Let's give the panelists another round of applause.
Just to close on, guys, I want to thank so much this gentleman over there on the camera, Matt Fisk. Yes, Matt, please. Matt has been instrumental. First of all, he's behind the incredible SWAT Kats encyclopedia online. He's the guy and some of his collaborator. So amazing job what he did over there. And during this weekend, he's been instrumental of getting pictures and videos and sounds and everything. So a big round of applause for him. And he will post things of this event also as well. So Matt, thank you so much, man. And thank you guys. It's fantastic.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see you in an hour in the signing area.
Yeah. Thanks, man.